Hey YouTube, this is Praxis Prepper, and today I want to address why I have this growing pile of sticks in my yard. I'm going to be composting human shit. But before I turn you off, I wanted to talk with an expert on the topic, just to alleviate any concerns you might have. And the expert is myself, from the future. Just downloaded a new app where I can receive video emails from the future. I just received this morning. I've not watched it myself, so we'll watch it together.
Okay, listen, one thing you need to know. Do not do it. Don't do it. It is the worst decision you've ever made in your entire life. I got sick for a month, and this worm the size of a weasel climbed out of my ass, and then it grew, and now it's the size of a bear. It's the size of a bear. It is chasing me.
Okay, not what I was expecting, but, you know, I'm sure it's going to be fine. I'm going to try it out anyway. Let's check it out.
I remember the day that it happened. The lights in the sky, the sirens, the moment everything changed. One day you're at the top of the world getting a lap dance from a cartoon stripper. The next, you're eating ashes out of the rib cage of your best friend's burned out corpse. Just to stay alive. Every day now is a struggle. And it all changed in that one instant.
This right here? This is you. This is you.
Hey YouTube, this is Praxis Prepper. If you're over 30, you may remember that back in the late 80s and early 90s, there was a movement, a fashion movement, among the rap and hip-hop community of wearing clocks around their necks. It was a wonderful fashion statement. I think we were all really surprised to see it go. When it first came out, nobody thought it was just going to be a flash in the pan. But it ended up being, and it's too bad that it was, because a clock around your neck isn't just a useful accoutrement if you're a rap or hip-hop artist. It's also a really useful prepping item. And to tell you why, I have a very special way to explain my thoughts on this. All right, yo. I tell you what, fuck this shit, I'm really cold. I want to make a survival fire. Which end do I like? It's kind of creepy in a way because you're sexually messing with the flowers. Would it be more natural if I had porno music playing? Okay, I'm going to add porno music starting now. Alright, well, male parts go into the female parts and get the pollen on. That should do it. I've done this with a couple of other ones, and yeah, it's a little creepy and everything, but you're my twin brother, but we're nothing alike. Come on, get in the car. We gotta get out of here. First, we gotta fill up the car with gas, and then we have to bug out. Well, yeah, I hear you, but the electric grid's down, and the gas stations can't pump without electricity. So, you know, we can't go anywhere because we don't have any gas. Hey, are you brushing your
Huh?
teeth? You gotta take care of those things.
Yeah. I ran out of toothbrushes 2 months ago, so I've been using my finger. It seems to be working all right. Wait a second. Hold on. Ah, a tooth. I lost a tooth. Ah.
Upon entering the room, the doors swing shut and lock behind you, and you find yourself confronted by a Class 300 Hellboy.
Okay. I'll use this magical jewel to double my hit points and increase my speed with this amulet. And I'll use the troll testicle to triple my charisma.
Hold it.
And
I got this one. I'm gonna shoot it in the neck with my rifle.
Well, that'll do it.
I am so cold.
Yeah, well, you should have brought yourself some clothes.
But don't worry. I bought a knife. A survival knife. I'm gonna start a fire.
Okay. How are we gonna do that?
I don't have any clue.
you know what? You know what? We are done.
All right, yeah. All right, that's it?
That is it.
You just gonna drop me like that?
Oh yeah, I can drop you. You're uncomfortable. You don't have enough storage space. And when's the last time I didn't have to work my ass off to get those zippers open?
Oh, so that's what this is all about? The zippers? Well, hey, I told you I had a headache that day.
This is no. This is not one day. We knew this day was coming for years.
Oh, well, don't think this is some surprise to me. You don't think I noticed for miles and miles you're walking behind other hikers looking at their backpacks? Oh, yeah, I noticed. You think you're just gonna get yourself out there, find some new backpack overnight?
Well, you don't think I could find another backpack? Maybe I have been looking around on Backpack Grinder and Backpack Tinder a little bit. You know, maybe there's something that's caught my eye.
Maybe you just go and check that backpack out then.
Yeah, great, fine.
Fine.
Yeah.
Sounds great.
Yeah, maybe I will.
Yeah, fine.
See ya.
And just like that, he walks out of my life.
All right. Look. Now, this right here, this is a bean. It's a soybean. All right? It's a okay, yes, it's a soybean. All right? Well, the shit hit the fan 4 weeks ago, and within the first 8 hours, you ate all of our beef jerky. All right? It was a beef jerky frenzy, and it is all gone now, and the only protein that we have left are soybeans.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, you are hungry, you are starving for nutrition, you need amino acids and protein. Okay, yes. What are you so afraid of? It's a soybean. Dude, I don't want to grow breasts, all right? So you would rather starve to death. You would rather starve to death than eat a soybean. Yeah. Okay, well fine. Well, maybe I will just eat all the soybeans then. And
be
then
my guest.
We can yuck! This is disgusting.
Yeah.
Why did we stash 80 kilos of these?
They're on sale.
Moses, take your shoes off. You are standing on holy ground.
This is getting really intense.
Fathers, Abraham.
Ha! The God of Israel? Ha 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 ha!
Jehovah says, let my people go.
Oh, no, he didn't. No, he didn't.
All the waters of Egypt shall become blood.
Blood? Blood, that's the plague. Blood. That's good organic material. That's good for farming.
How did he do that?
That's not a plague.
The stinking blood waters suddenly produced millions of frogs.
Frogs? Frogs are food. There ain't no plague neither. That's good. I'd eat a frog. I totally eat a frog.
God says, I will send swarms of flies upon Egypt. Your houses shall be filled with flies. But this
Bugs?
I will
That's disgusting. I am not sitting here watching bugs. Done.
There shall be no flies among my
This week on Praxis Prepper, will our hero be able to navigate through unknown lands
Yeah, no problem. I got a GPS right here. Let me just see if I can get a signal.
without a GPS?
Okay, yeah. I got a compass. So, see if I can find north here.
Without a compass?
Okay. Well, it's just about noon, so the sun should be south. So,
In the middle of the night.
okay. Well, constellations. I can find some stars and find the North Star. Let's see.
With total cloud coverage.
Oh, well, that makes it a little more difficult.
And naked.
Oh, come on, man. What the f?
Oh, this looks good for dinner tonight. What if we have this tortellini with mushroom sauce?
All we have is potatoes.
Oh, okay. Let's see. Oh, well, this is good. How about a crunchy nut muesli?
Potatoes.
Oh, okay.
That's it. That's all we have. Okay?
Oh, crab brulee with a spicy minced duck sauce.
Potatoes. We have nothing but potatoes. That's all we have to eat. What if we just eat raw potatoes? I'm so glad you're the one that's in charge of this. Namaste, motherfuckers. Hey everybody, and welcome to the first live stream that's actually shot in our new house. It's not just crammed into my bedroom office. This is sort of the setting that I was picturing for the longest time while we were building the house, putting in every nail and every board, and I was going home at the end of the day at the on live stream days and thinking, boy, is it going to be really nice when we can do live streams from within this space. I wish that I had a crackling fire for you guys, but we just don't need it because all the systems in the house work so well. So welcome to the live stream. What we do here is I love to answer questions that you guys might have about building your own homestead, your own retreat, or anything to do with emergency preparedness. This live stream series is kind of a branching off of the series that was dedicated to building the structure that I'm in right now, but we don't have to limit it to that. And I'd like to keep going forward with these live streams on the first Friday of every month. I mentioned in the little teaser leading up to the live stream at 4:30 this afternoon that I had some announcements for you guys, and I've got 2 of them I want to share with you. But first, I noticed there's only 5 people with us at the moment. Usually we usually double or triple that number by the the middle of our live stream. So I wanted to wait for a few more people to come in. In the meantime, I have a brief clip of what I've been doing here at the homestead. I've been continuing to build. We've been moved in for about 2 months now, but I'm still working on things, and I want to share that small bit of stuff that I've been working on with you. Also, some of the challenges. I referenced the wood stove that's back here. It's been a bit of a challenge to get wood for the wood stove because I put absolutely zero effort into that earlier in the year because we wanted to focus on just moving in here. Amber might be joining me later on. I'm not sure. She's not feeling up to necessarily popping in for the entire thing, but she might spin by for a little bit later on. While we wait for some people to come in, I wanted to talk a little bit about I guess this has been this thing going on with Dr. Seuss, like that the publisher has decided to stop publishing some of the books because they're considered, I think they said that they had hurtful depictions of certain groups in them. I happen to have one of them, and to think that I saw it on Mulberry Street. I know I hear that I could sell this for a lot of money, but I bought the book because I wanted the book a while ago. I was just kind of flipping through this, and I don't know if you guys are familiar with this book or other Dr. Seuss books that are supposed to be offensive. Everything, there's something that'll offend anybody. As a white Caucasian male, most of the stereotypes that are offensive are either not aimed at my particular group, or they are, and we're just kind of like, supposed to be cool with it. Like, if you watch a lot of marketing, it's always like the middle-aged husband is the buffoon character in the commercials. Like, there's the wise wife that knows that both her and the husband are too inept and stupid in order to do anything for themselves. So she's smart enough to know that they need to go to the professional X, Y, or Z, whoever like the commercial is being produced by, that they really need to go to them so that they can do it, because like if her or God forbid the husband tried to do anything for themselves, it would just be a disaster because he's an idiot. So it's kind of like marketing sort of turned around because like white guys are the ones that it's like it's kind of okay to make fun of, and I really don't care. It's a joke and whatever. I guess if I was part of a group that had been historically treated really badly, I would probably be a little bit more sore about it. But as a white guy, everything's kind of laid out for you so well that it's like, yeah, okay, we'll be the buffoons in the marketing of today. But it wasn't always that way. And I was just looking through this book to try to like figure out like who was being insulted in this book. The book is basically from the perspective of a kid that's going home, and he's kind of imagining all these things that he sees on the street, and it's like the kind of things that kids would imagine. Like there's a guy in a cart, and he says, "Oh, I saw this guy in the cart," but then he kind of changes the story, and he says, "Oh, it was actually a zebra." And then he kind of changes it. Well, it's a zebra, and he's pulling a charioteer. And this is where it kind of gets into like the racial stuff. It's like this is kind of starting to look like a Roman tunic. So it's like, is this offending Italian people? But I don't know. I'm not sure if that's supposed to be the deal. Then the zebra turns into a caribou or something. And then they have a couple people that there's 2 ways of interpreting this. One is it's Eskimos, and I guess if like there's a racial group that gets portrayed in something, people can just say, well, because they were portrayed, that must be offensive. Or it could just be people in warm clothing. I'm not really sure. It doesn't say Eskimo in here anyway. So I kind of kept flipping through, and then the the caribou turns into an elephant, and they do have someone that's referred to as a Raja at the top, and he's kind of like a chunky guy, and he's got a turban on his head and a mustache. Historically, it just kind of looks like someone basically wearing similar clothing to what people historically like that did in the past. So I'm not really sure if that's offensive. It'd be kind of like showing like a king and he's got a crown. It's like, oh, you don't show a king with a crown. That's stereotyping. I'm not really sure. Then there's like a band. There was something coming up that I'm wondering if this is what it was. There's like a band, and there's like an old man. Like, is it? The old man looks like a stereotypical old man, but he is white, so I'm not sure if that's what was offending people. Again, because it's like that's a group that doesn't tend to get targeted too much. They do have some cops, and here's the cops' names: Sergeant Mulvaney. Is it like anti-Irish? I'm mostly Irish. I really don't care. But it's like, I know like there was like this time period where it was like all the cops were Irish because like the immigrants would come to this country and they were able to, get ahead that way. I'm not sure if that was a thing. There is one thing coming up. They have a bunch of aldermen and a mayor there. I know this doesn't have anything to do with prepping and preparedness, but it's just in the news, and I was just curious about it. There's like giraffes and things, but there's nothing really jumping out at me. But there is this. I think this might be it. It says down here that he saw a Chinese boy who eats with sticks. And the way they draw him, he looks kind of weird, but it's like everyone in Dr. Seuss looks kind of weird. He's kind of like lanky and weird and doesn't have a chin. But everyone's kind of lanky and weird and doesn't have a chin. His skin is yellow, though. So I'm thinking that might be it. Today we know that Asian people don't actually have yellow skin. I don't know why that used to be a thing that people were under the impression that their skin was yellow. I suppose they could fix that just by like not color. Only his skin is yellow. Everybody else is just like paper white, which also could be offensive, I guess. Yeah, I guess they could just not color his face yellow anymore. It doesn't say in the text that he's yellow, and that's the end of the story. So I'm not really sure what was offensive about that. Otherwise, it's just like a story of a kid imagining a bunch of things, and he goes home, and that's it. So I'm thinking it might be like the fact that they colored the Chinese boy with yellow skin, but I don't know. Who knows about that? I noticed that we still have 6 people, so why don't we jump in? By the way, if you have any questions, please pop them into the chat. I'd love to answer your questions. If you have a dream of building your own homestead, your own retreat, or anything about regarding emergency preparedness, I've been in this for a long time, and I'd be happy to answer your questions. Before we go to the let's do it right now. I'm going to give you the announcements as soon as we do the update video, just a few minutes of what's been going on around here. But if you have any questions about homestead building, retreat building, pop them in the comments, and then after this, I will share with you the 2 pretty cool announcements.
Hey everybody, I'm actually recording this just a couple of hours before the live stream when you're watching it right now. That's not customary. Usually I would have remembered to do it earlier in the day, but I had a lot of errands today. So it's nighttime, and that's pretty normal. I am not going outside because it's really cold and really windy out there. But everything I've been working on has been inside lately because it's been really cold and really windy. Mentioning the cold, I want to show you we're in the greenhouse here. This is the west greenhouse, and the temperatures in this greenhouse have been really agreeable. Let's see if we can see it there. Yeah, right now, where the alcohol level is there, some people call it mercury, but it's not, is about 55 degrees in here. Outside, it's been in like the kind of the 20s today. And in this greenhouse, even when it's like maybe about 30 or 40 degrees outside during the daytime, it's been getting 75 degrees in this greenhouse. So this has been working out really, really well. The way we built this greenhouse was that this wall here, this entire wall surface there, and the wall on the opposite side, those are both 4 inches of urethane foam. And the outside wall surface on the west side is 2 inches of urethane foam. But it's working really, really well. The big place where we're getting most of our heat loss, I would imagine, is up on the greenhouse roofing itself. That is 1 inch thick polycarbonate roofing material, and it has 11 little pockets inside of it. It's kind of like layered corrugated cardboard, and it does a really good job. I never see frost or condensation up there, and this is a humid environment because we are dumping our exhaust from our showers. That's the bathroom fan vent, so we're always dumping humidity out here, and we never have a problem with it.
one of the really stupid things that we're doing here, related to the fact that we're dumping humidity out here, is this is where we've been keeping our firewood. And this is what we're down to at this point. A pile of sticks. I've been collecting firewood using these things, just these shears. I've been pruning it off of all of our brush piles. It's great because it's free and I'm clearing up the brush piles, but we got pretty much nothing left. Just a couple little pieces left over. That's all we have for firewood out here. We're doing okay though. Every day I just pop out, I grab a little bit, and it's going okay. I want to show you what we've been doing inside, because inside, like I said, is the majority of what we've been working on. Let's turn on some lights in here. It's kind of dark. I'm going to flip around and just show you what we've been working on. In here is these boxes around the windows. If you recall, when we first started this place, next to each window there's foam. This is the exterior boarding here, and 2 layers of 2-inch foam, so 4 inches of foam, and that was around every single window. It went all around it, and the spray foam kind of dripping. I've been adding these. Well, I'll go to a place where it's a little lighter so you can actually see it. I've been adding these boards. These are just wall boards here. You can see at the bottom. They're just 8-inch wall boards, and they are going up all around the windows, and there are the blinds at the top. That's been working out pretty well. They've gone in pretty easily. I wasn't sure how difficult it was going to be to kind of get those in and engaged, but it's been going pretty smoothly. I've got the first 5 done, and there were 3 left to do. You can see our fire going here. I was out for errands most of the day. We haven't lately been doing a fire for the entirety of the day, but I was out and the fire wasn't going for most of the day, so I threw in a few extra sticks, and again, this is what we're using, this is what we're burning, this kind of stuff. But it works. I mean, if you look at the gauges on the top of the wood stove, if I can get one that actually has some light on it, it's about 300 degrees. The flue gas going up through there, and that is totally fine. We still have this discrepancy between our 2 gauges, where the top one, the newer one, I think is inaccurately saying that it's only 200 degree flue gas, and the bottom one is 100 degrees hotter. So that's kind of it. That's all I've been doing lately. I've been just trying to catch up on my regular kind of work, and filling in, doing the window boards when I've had an opportunity to do it. As for the rest of the house, it really hasn't been that much. I've just been trying to catch up on other things. Alien Invasion has been taking some time. The first episode is just about done and ready for you guys. It'll be a little bit before we release it because we have to finish up the other series. And we're going to be running the series that I've talked about during this live stream. We're going to be running that kind of in tandem. It'll be going at the same time as Alien Invasion, throughout the summer and everything. So that's it. Let's go back to the real live stream. Yeah, so that catches you up. As you can see, work has slowed down since we've moved in. I've been trying to work on other things at the same time, but I still want to keep that forward momentum. From having built a house in the past, I remembered that anything you kind of leave and decide not to do right away, a decade can easily go by and you never do it. In fact, the last homestead that I was in, as I was moving out, I decided that I should probably finish trimming out around the doors because I just never did it for the entire time that I lived there. Normally Amber is next to me and she will field a lot of the questions. I'm going to be kind of having split attention between you guys and the screen to see if anything pops up here. I'm looking for your questions. I see that Mike is here all the way from Latvia. Welcome. We're usually on... What time is it? I'm not even going to try to figure it out. It's a different time in Latvia than 8:30 p.m. though. I'm not sure whether it's super early or super late or what. We have Kevin here with us. Moondog, do not insult my plant, Moondog. I have had this since it was a seed. I found it as a seed on the ground. It was a big seed. It was like that. Well, I don't know. I was really little when I found it. Maybe it was smaller. But I was on a vacation and found this and planted it, and it's over 30 years old at this point. It just keeps going and going and going. It occasionally sends up some weird yellow flowers. And I've lugged it from every single place that I've lived at, one to the other, and it survived after all this time. It's not particularly wonderful. It's just that it's been with me for so long. It's definitely the longest living plant that I've ever had. And Kev2D is with us as well from Ireland. I just happen to remember that. Let's see, what do we have? So Moondog says he's
heard that indoor plants are a source of black mold. Well, yeah, any humidity inside can be a source of black mold. I don't know whether all black mold is black mold, but I've certainly found black mold here and there. Not necessarily just, like in a house, but just, outside and rotting stuff certainly on lumber. If you leave lumber outside, stacked and it's moist, I found plenty of mold that was definitely black on that stuff. In fact, I've used some of it in the structure where I just took it and I kind of like scrubbed it off, let it dry, bone dry, and then, so far so good with that. But I guess any humidity is going to be a potential source of mold. I know people like demonize black mold, like it's this thing that's definitely going to kill you, and I don't doubt that it's dangerous. But I've been around it for a long time. I don't think of it suffered any ill effects, but maybe my life would be much better if I hadn't exposed myself to it in some way that I can't even imagine. Let's see. Kev2D says, what's the plans for the greenhouse? Any particular veggies you're going to grow? Well, yeah, I've been, and it looks like for Mike in Latvia, it is 3:45 in the morning. I have been thinking about what kind of plants we're going to be growing in the greenhouse. And we have two greenhouses, and they both have different characters. One greenhouse is down that way. That is the west greenhouse. And the one kind of behind you guys is the east greenhouse. They are completely identical in every single way, dimensionally and everything. But they have really different characteristics based on the way that the sunlight comes in. The house, all the windows are over on this side of the house. That's why the plants are here. And this is the south-facing side of the house. I intentionally didn't point it directly south. I know a lot of times when people are building houses and they want to get some solar gain, they figured, well, I want to have my wall with all the windows, my south wall facing exactly south. And I've tended not to do it that way, because if you think about it, like the times of the day when you want to be warm in your house versus the times in your day when maybe your house is getting a little too warm, it's usually the morning. It's in the morning where you're like, oh, I'd really love for my house to warm up a little bit. And when it's been a hot day, it's at the end of the day when you're kind of feeling, oh, it's been such a hot day, I wish my house was a little cooler. So what I tend to do is take the houses that I've put together, and I guess there's 4 of them at this point, mini houses or full houses or whatever. I usually take them and rotate them slightly to the east. So they're kind of they're facing south, but south and slightly east. And the reason for that is that when the sun rises pretty much directly from behind you guys and comes up, we're kind of slightly open to it. So we get that early morning warming from the sun. And as the sun goes through the day, the house gets plenty comfortable. And by the end of the day, as the sun's going back down again, the house is a little bit faced away from it. So we're not getting necessarily the most solar gain that we could get for the entire day, but we're placing that solar gain during the times of the day where you really want it, which is kind of earlier in the day, warm up the house, and then at the end of the day, you're probably fine anyway. You don't have to worry about it. Anyway, having that kind of orientation has really had an impact on the greenhouses, a profound impact. When I think I mentioned in the little cutaway video that this greenhouse, when it's like 30 or 40 degrees outside, it can be cold, windy, whatever. If it's sunny, that greenhouse is touching 75 degrees. It's been touching up to that level of comfort, and even 50 degrees on a cold day is really comfortable in a greenhouse. But 75 degrees, this greenhouse over here, the east-facing greenhouse, for a variety of reasons, but partially because of the orientation of the house, that one. This one will be 75, that one will be 55. This one, the east-facing greenhouse, does not get as much of the warmth, both because the house is kind of turned away, so by the time the sun gets up in the sky, that greenhouse is kind of, favored away from it. And also, we're kind of close to some trees over there. So by the time the sun kind of gets up, and it could be baking into the greenhouse, it's almost all the way around and it's not really going in there. So that greenhouse, the east greenhouse, is cooler than this greenhouse. So the question was plants. What plants might I be thinking of growing? Well, I wanted to figure out what kind of plants I was going to be growing based on the characteristics of the greenhouses, and they both are having different characteristics. And I think that things like kale, things like lettuce,
I might very well be able to grow all year round in this greenhouse over here. This one almost never touches below freezing. There were a couple days, when we had that really cold snap in the, the whole central United States got really cold, and we got a lot of that. During some of those days, we would dip down a little bit below freezing in this greenhouse. But even with that happening, if you had things like lettuce or kale or whatever, you could just put like a cloche around them. That's like kind of like a little mini greenhouse that keeps in some of the geothermal heat from the dirt around them. You can do that to kind of protect some of the plants. But I think that I might do some planting in the winter of maybe lettuces and kale over in this one. And certainly you can extend the season of things like, snap peas, things that like kind of cool weather. Spinach is another one that likes kind of cool weather. So I'm going to be kind of playing it by ear and using the characteristics of both greenhouses, because the one to the east is definitely colder than the one to the west. Let's see what some other questions we had here. Let's see. Black mold is found in the soil that the plants grow in. I'm sure it is. I mean, mold is part of decomposition. It's a part of the natural world. I don't doubt that it's bad when people's houses get a bunch of black mold when they've had a flood or whatever. I would take people's word at that. But in practice, I have always had plants in my house, and I don't know, I never seem to have any ill effects from it. That said, in the past, I would always get kind of a couple colds every year, and that's kind of a respiratory thing. Maybe the mold was influencing me in that way. But all my colds and flus completely stopped as soon as we started social distancing and masking and everything. So I think that the colds are really coming from the outside, and that stuff was not coming from. Sorry, there's a new computer and it's throwing all these ads up at me. I'm going to click. Don't ever ask me that again. And okay, there we go. I was having some trouble with the old computer. The monitor was starting to fall off. So, I hate buying new things, but, it was getting really crazy. I've always had plants. I don't think I've ever had any issues. So apparently some level of black mold would seem to not be at least lethal. In my experience. Let's see. Do the greenhouses supply heat to the rest of the house, or is it just the stove? We're kind of feeling that out. The greenhouses, on a couple of days, like I was saying, they were getting up to 75. On those days, I was opening up the doors to the greenhouses, and both greenhouses are designed so that they have doors on this level, and there's windows up at the upper level. And I learned that from the last place that I built, that if you want to get heat from your greenhouse into your house, you need to give, you have to have two passageways. One for the heat to rise in the greenhouse and push its way into your house, and another to supply the cool air from your house. You can create kind of a convection loop. So we have windows up on the second floor that go into the greenhouse and doors on the first floor. So if we open both of those, we can get that convection loop going. And I've used it on a couple of occasions, but honestly, the wood stove is just such an easy way of heating the house, especially the way that we built it here with having the air tunnels under the floor. The last house where I heated with wood, every single morning you woke up and you're like, man, the first thing I got to do, I absolutely have to heat the wood stove because it's cold in here. And that's the way it oftentimes is with a wood stove heated house, is it gets really hot and then it gets really cold in the morning and you heat it up again. You just kind of repeat this cycle. What we did with this place, and I apologize for repeating myself if you guys have been watching the series, is I wanted to fix that problem. And the floor that I'm sitting on right now is an enormous mass of concrete and gravel and cinder blocks. And we created a bunch of tunnels under it, and we're able to take the hot air from the top floor, blow it under the floor here. It heats up this entire gigantic pile of rock and gravel and concrete and all these kinds of things, heats them up, and just like hot stones that you might heat up by a fire if you're camping, and then you kind of can put them underneath your sleeping bag to keep you warm. It does the same thing. So we store that heat, and it really moderates the temperature. So here, when we wake up in the morning, it's a little bit cool in the morning, but don't feel that kind of existential threat to your core where it's like, oh man, I got to really start a fire right away. And you saw in the video what we've been burning, just little sticks and twigs or whatever. It's not the most convenient. I love the idea of just grabbing some big chunks of firewood, throwing them in. It's less work that way, but it's not taking that much to heat this house. It's just with scraps and things that we've brought in from outside. And the temporary house that I was living in, I was just calculating up how much money I was spending on oil to heat that place while we were there. Thousands and thousands of dollars. This place, I heat it with some trash that I find outside on the ground. So I'm really liking this setup here, and it's working really, really well. Let's see, what else do we have here? Okay, Moondog asks, if I had indoor decorative plants, I'm not sure this is going to be a question, I just have air plants, like, okay, I'm not going to venture pronouncing that, but you just have air plants and water plants like Lucky Bamboo. Yeah, you know, there actually are certain plants that are really good at purifying the air, and I always hate these kind of superlative lists where it's like, what are the top 10 kitchen knives, or, you know, top 10 whatever, but there are top 10 lists of the best plants that you can have for cleaning the air. This, as far as I know, isn't one of them. In fact, I don't know that any of the plants I have here are one of them. A lot of the plants I have back here, I don't know if you can see them, they're all in the shadows. I have an old grapefruit tree, which I grew from a seed. I love growing plants from seeds. I was eating grapefruit and found a seed with a root, and I was like, I wonder if that would grow. That was like 20-something years ago. And I have this grapefruit citrus tree, which has never even had a flower. So it might have been some kind of hybrid grapefruit that's you know, sterile and can't actually make fruit. But I keep it because it's pretty, and you can actually use the leaves of citrus plants in culinary cooking. That said, I don't know, there might be poisonous varieties of citrus trees, I don't know, but I know with many of them, including the one I have, you know, you can use them in cooking. And if you take a citrus tree leaf, again, as long as it's safe, I don't know all of them, and chew on it, it reminds me of Fruit Loops when I was a kid. You know, on special occasions, my mom would get me Fruit Loops, and it has the sort of aromatic qualities of Fruit Loops if you chew it. Oh, hey, thanks, Kev Tootie. You just gave us a super chat. That's one of the ways it keeps the channel going. I don't even have the super chat shirt, but that brings me to the point that I wanted to get to, and I will go. I'm going to loop. No, I'm going to do it right now. Let's talk about plants, but I am going to talk about the 2 announcements. I haven't even gotten to the 2 announcements yet. Plants. If you're looking for plants that are really good at purifying the air, I did some research on this a while ago, and I'm going to hit you with 3 of them. One, in order of what I think, you know, starting with the least interesting and going to the most interesting. Broadleaf, elephant leaf philodendrons. Those are really big plants that have these crazy big leaves. Those are apparently really good at cleaning the air. The other 2 I want to hit you with because they're super easy to grow. One is pothos. Pothos is it's sort of like the universal office, like office cubicle plant. It has got, you know, heart-shaped leaves, kind of a viney kind of thing. If you've ever been in an office environment, I can't imagine that you haven't seen some pothos growing on some people's cubicles. It keeps kind of vining and draping down and everything. Pothos is really good at cleaning the air, and one of the cool things about pothos is it's a jungle plant for the forest floor, so it doesn't need very much light. That's why it grows so great in office environments. So you can kind of have it around your house, and it doesn't need to have direct sunlight in order to operate. So pothos, another good plant for cleaning the air. And the last one, which is super easy to grow, super easy to propagate, is spider plants. You know, those big grassy kind of plants. They you know, send out those big arcing leaves, kind of like this, and then they send out the babies. There's like the little spire, and then there's a little baby. And you know, if you're like me, you can't see any of them die, so you just keep planting them and trying to give them away to your friends. Spider plants are another really good plant for cleaning the air, and I should probably get some of those in here now that we're finally settled in. Okay, there's a couple questions that I want to get to the announcements. Okay, Kev2D asks, do you only burn wood from the land, or coal or turf? Around here, turf means like grass. I guess some grass has gotten in there. I'm not sure exactly what you mean by that. Coal, I've never burned coal ever. I have absolutely no experience with burning coal at all, except in Minecraft. I've used it as a fuel in Minecraft. Yeah, it's all been just stuff from the land. We grabbed some logs that were at the last place. The last place that we were living at temporarily, I brought this wood stove that's here there to kind of try to get it to work, but the house just was never really built for it. I cut some vents in the floor, I'd improved it a little bit, but it just didn't make sense because you really heated up the basement where the stove was positioned in that house, which was also my pantry, which you don't want your pantry to be hot, and it didn't really reach up to the rest of the house. So I had a lot of firewood from the other place that had just been like felled on the land, and I was just kind of slicing it up, and it was a lot of rotted stuff, like really punky stuff, like the kind of logs you get, like a log this big and you like easily lift it with one hand, maybe even with a pinky finger because it's like all dry rotted. That stuff, it's not going to give you the most heat, but that stuff burns. And you know, for people who poo-poo like, oh, that little stick doesn't have much heat, that punky wood doesn't have that much heat, take a little ember from a little stick that's glowing red hot and put it in the palm of your hand, and you tell me that there's not plenty of heat for that thing to share with you. Even little bits of wood have a lot of heat to share out into your house. So I pretty much use whatever we can find, and everything is from this landscape. We felled a lot of trees to make room for this house, and while it would have been convenient to have hired someone to just drop some firewood, and pretty economical as well, I easily could have heated this house on a cord of wood, and that would have cost me less than $300 for the entire year. But I just couldn't legitimize doing that, even though it's very economical to do that whole year of heating for just like $300 or less. I couldn't legitimize that because I've got piles of wood everywhere, and some of them I want to get out of my way. So yeah, I didn't want to buy wood because I had so much in my way. But yeah, it's all just stuff from here. And this afternoon, for example, like that pile of sticks you saw in the cutaway video, I just went out with the shears and just popped a few off, and it keeps your house warm for a few more hours. So it's pretty easy and totally free. So that's the way I do it. Moondog has one more thing, maybe a question. Kaffir lime leaves are good in coconut milk to make Thai curry stews. I wonder if the lime leaves are similar to the grapefruit leaves. I might try that out sometimes. Thanks for the tip. And Mike says wood is great as a fire lighter. I use a lot for boosting my stove. That type of wood is good for that. Yeah. My favorite wood for starting fires is actually embers from the day before. Whenever I am cleaning out my stove, I make sure that I try to leave the embers, the black, little lumps that are left over, because nothing lights easier than the embers, because they're totally dry. They're like charcoal, and they go up and start heating up all your other wood, even if it isn't totally dry. Okay, let's get to the announcements. We got 2 announcements. Let's start with alien invasion, because I think most people probably think that this announcement's about alien invasion. And I do have one about alien invasion, but I also have one about something else too, which is very new and totally unexpected, and none of you are going to see this one coming. It's not that exciting. It's pretty exciting, though. I'm really excited about it, actually. Okay, so first, alien invasion. What we're going to be doing with alien invasion, it's going to be starting in June. I've already shot the first episode. I got to do a little bit more tweaking to it, but I'm pretty happy with it. I like the tone of the new season, the way that it's going to be coming out. And we're going to be starting it in June on Patreon. The way that we did the first season of Alien Invasion is it's financed by the people who jump on Patreon. I've got 10,000 subscribers to this channel. Thousands of people watch the video, but you don't really make a living on YouTube ad revenue. I make like less than $1 a day from the ad revenue from YouTube. The thing that really keeps the thing that really allows me to put in the time on the Alien Invasion series is the constant support of people on Patreon. That said, Alien Invasion is going to be coming to is going to be coming out to YouTube to everyone. It'll be a little bit delayed to give people maybe a little incentive to help out with the series, and another incentive. Here's the important part. Another incentive, if you would be interested in jumping on Patreon and just helping me to free up the time so that I can take it away from kind of my regular job and do the stuff I really like for you guys doing the series and everything. An incentive for jumping onto Patreon is that at the end of every episode, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be listing credits of all the people that have helped put the episode together. I'm one, and all the rest are you guys on Patreon. So as I'm finishing episodes, and I like I said, I'm just about to finish episode 1. As I finish episodes, whoever is a current Patreon supporter at that time will get packaged into the end credits for that episode, because I want to give credit to you guys who really make this all possible for me. So if you would like to be included in that list of people who helped make it all possible, at the end of each episode, hop over to patreon.com/Praxis Prepper. Even for just $1 a month, you can jump on. I don't tier it like, oh, the people that are at this level, they get like their name bigger or whatever. Everyone's equal. What I appreciate is people partnering with me and saying, hey, this is something that's worth it to me to put a little bit of investment in. I put hours and hours of investment of my time into it. And if you feel like it's worth it to you to help in some small way, I want to reward you guys and give you something that you can be like, hey, I was an executive producer on Alien Invasion Season 2 from Praxis Prepper. So there's a link down in the description below. If it's not there yet, I'll be adding it later on, so you can pop over. And like I said, for every single episode, whenever I happen to be finishing it, and they kind of pop out, they finish randomly at different times. As I'm finishing them, I will look and see who are the current patrons on patreon.com, and you guys' names will go into the end credits so everyone can know who's been helping out with it. Additionally, like I said, on Patreon, the episodes are going to be released early. They are going to be released on YouTube generally, after that. I don't want to withhold it forever from people, but I could use some help with something. There is another channel that's my baby, and I've been trying to get it to the point where I can get that channel monetized. YouTube really keeps moving the goalposts for monetizing channels, and I feel like the greyhound that keeps racing after the little rabbit dangly thing for greyhound racing, that they almost get it, but they can never quite get it. There's another channel that I've been trying to get monetized on YouTube, and if I'm able to do that, it'll really help me with this channel, because it'll help me to get income from that channel, so that it'll really subsidize my ability to put more effort in on this channel. And the reason I bring it up is because I could use some help getting that monetized. So in a couple of months in the future, when we're getting ready for Alien Invasion to release, if you're not able to jump onto Patreon and it's just not your thing, I understand that. I could definitely use some help getting the watch hours up and the subscription rolls up on another channel. I'll be giving you guys a link for that later on. It's a kids educational channel, and I figured I'd make little goalposts, and if you guys can help me to move that channel towards being, to a place where it can actually get reviewed by YouTube, then I will, I'll trade it for Alien Invasion episodes. But, we're a couple of months off for that, but I did want to let you guys know Alien Invasion episodes are beginning to be completed, and, if you guys are on the Patreon rolls helping me out with that, I'll be sure to thank you guys in the credits at the end of every episode. Let's see if we have any other questions, and then I have the second announcement that I wanted to get to. There's a lot of data here. Moondog has a bunch of things here. There's a neuroscientist says that there's evidence that there's prions, which are misfolded proteins, inside SARS-CoV-2, and the only way to destroy those is to autoclave at. That's information. I can't confirm or reject any of that, because it's definitely above my pay grade. I can say that I myself have not come down with any COVID symptoms, doing what I've been doing, heating things at the temperatures I've been working at, using UVC lights, sterilizing, masking, all the rest of the stuff. But that said, maybe I already had COVID and I was just one of those people that was really lucky and didn't have any symptoms with it. That's just anecdotal and it doesn't prove anything. Wow, Kev2D with 10 euros. Given the way the US dollar is sliding, 10 euros is even more than it used to be. Thank you very much. Oh, it is. It's approximately $10 million for the Kids channel. It probably would be. Okay, so thank you very much for that. You're so generous. I really appreciate it. The second announcement. And this relates to a new series that's going to be here on this channel. And we've got to wrap this episode up pretty soon too. This relates to a new series that's going to be premiering on this channel pretty soon. I'm wondering if there's someone here with us. Is Burning Hearth Homestead here? Maybe. Are you joining us? Let me know if you're here. Burning Hearth Homestead is one of the channel patrons. They have been supporting this channel for quite a while, and the guy over there had, I'd say the guy because I'm not sure whether he wants his name used or not, but the guy over there was in touch with me, and he said, hey, Praxis, I ship out seeds. He has a nursery, and he was shipping out some seeds. He thought of me, and he asked, well, would you like to have some seeds to grow this year? And I said, hey, that sounds great. And I got to thinking about it, and I was thinking, wouldn't it be kind of fun if we made a series about being a new beginning gardener? And what we've kind of come up with is he's going to be supplying me with a certain set of seeds. He's calling it the Praxis Pack. And you can get the exact same pack from his website. He's a charitable organization, but they do take donations. And I would highly recommend if you ask them for the Praxis Pack and they send it to you, if you would give them a donation, it helps to subsidize what they're doing. I was looking at kind of the seed mix that they have, and I think somewhere in the $20 to $25 range for the seeds plus the shipping and everything would be kind of fair and would be treating them well. But if you would like, you could get the exact same packet of seeds or selection of seeds. Is going to be 10 different varieties. And you could get the same set of seeds that I'm going to be working with. And the series is going to start from germinating the seeds, getting them to grow, transplanting the seeds out into larger pots if that's the situation, or transplanting them directly into the garden, seeing how it works out in the garden, bring us through, like, you know, what are the deals with pests and things. And we'll keep doing these live streams directly related to that. We'll probably do it during the daytime out in the garden out here. We'll be right out there, and we'll be taking questions and seeing, you know, how you guys are doing with your seeds. You'll be seeing how I'm doing with my seeds. And I just thought that would be kind of a neat way of kind of sharing the experience that we're both kind of learning together. I've been doing gardening for many years, but I'm far from an expert in it. I'm always learning more things. And every time you move to a new location and start with new soil, everything kind of seems like it's pretty different, you know, starting from scratch to some degree. So I thought that'd be a fun series. Now I'm going to be making another announcement for that later on in a shorter video, and I'll have all the links for you guys so you can know how to get your seed packets and everything. Yeah, I thought that might be interesting for you guys to participate in, and I think it'd be a great way to kind of share the experience together. And that was my last announcement. Let's see what else we have here, and then we should really wrap this show up. Any questions? Let's see. So Mike asks or says, when they had the BSE issues in the UK, they said it was up to 11 years before they would see the increase in CGJD, but it never happened. I have no idea what you guys are talking about. I'm sorry. Yeah, it doesn't seem like burning is here, but they're going to be with us, you know, for the seed sending out part and everything like that. Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. The seeds are all heirloom seeds. I've partnered with them because, you know, we're on the same kind of mindset in terms of like self-sufficiency, sustainability, yeah, all that good stuff. Yeah, they're heirloom seeds. You'll be able to, you know, grow these, collect the seeds, keep it going forward. And I like the idea that we're starting at just 10 seeds. Do I have one? Yeah. This time of year, you always have. There's so many catalogs that get sent to you, and they're wonderful to look through. And by the time you're done with it, you probably have ordered like 40 different seeds. Well, that's maybe a bit of an exaggeration, but you always have this drive that you want to just order so many different things, so they all just seem so wonderful. I think sometimes it's nice to kind of keep your expectations reasonable at the beginning. I think 10 seeds, 10 different varieties of plants is a good place to start from. And I've asked them to select the seeds that are going to be easy for newbies to start, and the kind of things that kind of present a broad nutritional spectrum for people as well. So it's not just, we have 10 different varieties of basil for you to try. It's going to be a nice variety, and it's going to be the types of things that'll be kind of like a starting point. You know, get good at these 10 seeds, and then next year maybe you try, you know, 11 or 12 different you know, types, or 2 different types on top, and then, you know, you bring it up to like, you know, 12 different types of seeds you're doing. We see some new people in here. Oh, do I think they'll ship to Dublin? I think they oh, you know, I don't know if, there might be laws about that. I'm not sure if they can ship internationally. That's a good question. I know that there are rules about shipping seeds overseas. There was this whole weird thing where there were like Chinese seeds being shipped randomly to the United States, and some people were like thinking, is it bioterror? I don't know what that turned into. Maybe it was just like poor business planning, and they were just accidentally being shipped out. I don't know, but yeah, there might be rules that they can't go outside of the States. I guess you could contact them and find out for sure, because I'm sure they would know. Jason Stanley is here. Thanks for joining us. And he says he's glad the stream's back. And he didn't know where it went earlier. Yeah, I did a test earlier. There's a new computer, and I wanted to make sure it would actually work. And the first 4 tries didn't. It's weird with YouTube. You just try the same thing over and over and over and over, and then one time it works. That's why I do that loader thing at the beginning with the funny little clips, so it gives me some buffer time, so I can start at a half an hour early to make sure I'm ready on time for you guys. Let's see. Okay, Moondog's talking about more things that I'm sorry. I'm not proficient in a lot of that kind of stuff. So the text is there for other people that may be. Let's see. Okay, Jason has a lot of different seeds. I know Jason and I had bought a bunch of seeds during the last season, and my garden last season was actually kind of a dud, mostly because I was building the house. There's a river down here, like a stream, and I was thinking, oh, that's perfect. It's kind of open. There was like perpetually somewhat moist soil, and I just took all my plants that I was planning on growing, and I was just like, you know, Mother Nature will take care of them. She kind of took care of a couple of the mustard greens. There were like a few radishes that kind of turned into mutant radishes, and everything else did not do well. I even took some pretty well established tomato plants and put them in that what seemed to me to be beautiful, riverside soil, like, maybe 10 feet away. That's like the stuff that gets like the seasonal, silt deposits and everything. I would have thought it'd been beautiful. It was like death soil. I did not have a garden last year because I was building a house, Let's see, anything else? More stuff that I don't know about. Well, thank you guys very much for joining me. It's always a pleasure to have these live streams. I think at this point I really enjoy doing them with you guys, so that's kind of the major reason I wanted to keep up doing one per month, because it's fun, it's enjoyable for me, yeah, I appreciate you guys being here, even though all I had to show off for was a couple of window blinds this time. So that's it. Thank you guys very much for watching. As we go out, the sponsor for this episode is actually the people that are going to be sending out seeds if you guys choose to engage with them. So that's it. Have a good night.
This episode is brought to you in part by Burning Hearth Homestead, a nonprofit that aims to provide seeds, live plants, and education to the community, both local and extended. Plant seeds, plant knowledge, plant the future. If you'd like to thank them for supporting this channel or find out more about what they do, go to burninghearthhomestead.org.
Please subscribe and tune in every Friday at 4:30 New York time for a new video. And if you'd like to support this channel, you can do so both through Patreon or PayPal.